though of their predecessor, if to say. It's not really predecessor, is it? Both of the teams, Nora and Fnatic, still fighting strong, just not in this tournament, and now there is a huge opportunity. Buck is going to be taken off early. This time, it's by Wildcard.
Yeah, that was up against them yesterday. Xavier betting Buck on every map, but they're going to take that into their own strategies, and we even heard an audible whoa from CYCLOPS after that ban, so whether that's something interesting or them just bringing some energy, we'll see. But the Nomad ban coming out of CYCLOPS, very interesting, is used a lot by Wildcard to assist with the flank watch, so this is going to help them a little bit with roaming and flanking around, so gives a bit of an intention of how CYCLOPS might look to play their defenses.
CYCLOPS seem pretty comfortable in using other forms of that flank watch. We saw the Aussie operator come through. Pulse as well getting banned out. We're hearing some some shouts coming through from CAG. All smiles from them, so you know, at least we can report it's all coming together for the Japanese camp. However, they don't really have the greatest chance here.
If anyone can do it, it is CYCLOPS, and this is something that they've been good at in the past, and that is bringing some insane deep energy back into their game out of nowhere, getting past disturbances from the last map. So moving forward, we see Wildcard starting this map on defense. They will be going to the hookah bomb site, favoring that as their first pick. Ethan picking onto a Mozzie from the mirror, maybe just creating a little bit of hesitation on the side of CYCLOPS, who have decided not to pick off anything. They're happy with the operators they chose.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
So we can pivot a lot on the initial couple of rounds, but at the end of the day, this is a marathon, not a sprint. And similar to the last round, rather the last map, CAG will want to be getting off to a red roaring start. Wildcard though, realistically, all of the momentum is in their favor. 5 rounds straight on the back of the last map as they were up against they were up against match point for 4 rounds.
Yeah.
3 rounds.
3 rounds. You could say 4, but it was 3. Yeah, look, Wildcard, they're bringing some solid momentum coming into this, so they're going to look to start strong. Turpe reprising a relatively famous Maestro role for him. He's had some very big rounds in the past for his team on Maestro. Shoki bringing the Jackals, so they're a little bit worried about a potential roam here, which is something that Ethan is known for. Just moving around a bit and poking the back of his opponents and to cause a bit of havoc. Likewise with Emo in.
We saw Wildcard be very aggressive on this map yesterday against Xavier. You know, a lot of the times we were seeing spawn peaks or runouts in the opening engagements. So maybe CYCLOPS were watching yesterday and took some notes on what was going on, because more often than not, Wildcard were ending up with a man advantage early on, which is very detrimental. Not only is there less utility, but there's just a less player in the server for you. So not to be this time, however, they do have 2 players that are playing somewhat roaming. Emo Rin more so than Ethan, but
Activating drone.
looking for the initial engagement. Going to force that issue.
Bomb located by attackers.
Playing very patient so far on defense, because, as you said, a little bit different to how they played yesterday, but I think that's good so far because the onus really is on CYCLOPS to change their stars, so to speak. Wildcard with the map advantage so far in the series.
Attackers drop.
Because Neophyter goes big with 2 kills all of a
wow.
sudden, and that is huge from Neophyter. That's 2 picks in quick succession.
What? That's massively aggressive from him to push through there. He literally just went straight in. Full-on gunfight. And drops both members. Interesting. Well, now they're going to have to do without the Jackal and without the Sledge. But fortunately for them, CYCLOPS have made a fair bit of progression on that bottom floor. So realistically, the roam isn't as much of a concern as just finding a kill and bringing this back a little bit more so.
Have recovered their diffuser.
Yeah, Suzu getting a bit of intel here, entering the last minute of this round. Yeah, G really going to have to start doing something to Wildcard. They've sat in these positions for so long with very little contention. And that's really going to be favouring Wildcard coming into this final execute. But that's a beautiful shot from Suzu, opening the cards for CYCLOPS in this map.
How good's that read too? Gatorada going to be able to drop down Ethan with the frag grenade. Now they can start to put a little bit more pressure on. 30 seconds remain. Kaid and Mozzie now down, so it's going to have to come up to 3 players here. Diesel, he'll feel the tickle, but it's Emo Rin to shut down Galarada now. 2 players remain for Cyclops. Getting aggressive, they'll be shut down on the long line. Suzu with it all to do. 10 seconds remain, a 1 versus 3 to win the first round, and Wildcard will successfully start map number 2.
Great defense coming out of Wildcard. They just sat strong. They were so confident with their positions, and they weren't really getting pushed out of those positions. So really good execution of patience, but also calculated aggression from Neo.
Yes.
That really opened the round for them at the start.
Definitely gave them a better clue in. And not having to worry so much about the 2 players because they were making early contact. You saw early on CAG were happy to try and take those longer fights in toward Hookah, but well, when you've got a player like Neo and he's got confidence like Neo does, go kill. Be free, my brother.
Go kill he did, Manic. And we'll move on to the second round here. Cyclops bringing his Lion. Utilized the Lion quite a bit on bank. Seem to definitely have helped with their execute, so they're looking to find the same success here on coastline with that attacker. Wildcard bringing this heavy ACOG strat. We saw this played out yesterday against Xavier after this penthouse bomb site. They will be utilizing 3 ACOGs on this bomb site. Working to quite good effects for them yesterday. Only one round where it didn't really work out too great. That was in fact the first round. So
now what I want to see is how Derpe starts to come in to his own on this map, because it was realistically yesterday that he was happy to take all of those aggressive engagements. So I would dare say maybe keep your eyes on the ACOG of Derpe. Depending on how he actually wants to play this, maybe Wildcard aren't so happy to go for those kind of spawn peaks or runouts when Cyclops, oh, well, that shut it up pretty quickly. Let's wait and see whether there's actually anything. There we go.
Oh
okay, Derpe right there.
Straight up jumping out, and he's going to get shut down. No, he's not. He's tagged up, but he gets back into sight. Oh, unfortunate from Cyclops not to capitalize on that, but Derpe just showing again that he's not too afraid to pull out this aggression when Wildcard trying to open up the rounds. But
I do really like this. I like this because now Cyclops are well aware that they're going to have to be careful every time they start. Every single area in which the Derpe was peeking from yesterday have changed up. He can go for that typical peek. He was generally going out onto the balcony and trying to find a kill that way, or peeking through a tiny little hole. This time, just straight up in your face, send it out the window.
The thing I find though, which we will have to wait and see, but sometimes with Cyclops it's a bit of a don't poke the bull situation.
Yep.
Because sometimes on aggression they're a bit like, oh yeah, aggression? Hold my beer. So we will see whether they decide to do that now that Derpe has tried that jump out. Galarada is the first casualty for this round though. There's the Lion off the board, so some of those scans not really being able to be utilized. That can come back to hurt Cyclops later in the rounds.
Once again, that's actually Neo finding that opening kill. So that's twice already for Wildcard on coastline that they've been able to pick up the opening with realistically not too much to show for it. I mean, Ethan, yes, he is low, but there's no real progress that's being made toward the putting pressure on Wildcard just yet. Look how aggressive they still are. They're happy to be like this. Breathing easy, Raven.
Yeah, and it's the comfort they can have with these ACOGs, but Neo has finally been taken down to the dock, but Ethan trades straight back, so nice executed run out there from Ethan, and Derpe will find another one onto the sledge, so 2v4. Just over 8 minutes to go here, and some fantastic team play, but Emo whipping some shots, and so is Derpe. Shoki tagged to 1 HP on the Zofia. It's a 2v2, less than a minute to go. Cyclops looking to take a round back against Wildcard.
That's it. Ethan was on the flank. He is stuck, however, in toward that southern part of the map. It's Diesel who can step up massively and anchor here. They are going for the plant, so whether Diesel goes for the peak or not, he might be able to find the head of Annington. He does get off for a second, so now if he can isolate this into a 1v1, Ethan comes in from behind for the backstab. Very nicely done. Diesel plays patiently, waits for the pick, and Ethan, it bought so much time for the flank to come in. Very nicely done from Wildcard in round number 2.
Really great team play from them on all levels. They were constantly peeking from multiple angles at once, making it really uncomfortable for Cyclops. What a shot from Neo on that really long angle with the ACOG. But yeah, back to the team play of Wildcard. It really was the difference in that round. And it's looking really good for them so far.
2 rounds, the better this could slowly but surely roll out of control. There is a tack pause, I believe. We can see maybe some information being given from CYCLOPS there. It is attack pause, we have been confirmed. That is CYCLOPS' attack pause as well. They haven't been shy to use them throughout the entire weekend, and right now is prime position to do so.
Maybe the issue with Diesel is his IQ is kind of like leaking out his nose, you know? Like just trying to keep it in there. But look, Wildcard playing really well so far.
Yep.
One thing we keep talking about is how Derpe played yesterday, but I think we should really also highlight Neo and give him a lot of credit. On the rounds, the maps that they won yesterday, Neo really stepped up, and I believe it was Clubhouse at one stage. He had like a 4-point-something KD. So Neo really coming strong in these 2 series so far for his team, and that's really great to see, and not necessarily the players that you do see step up sometimes. Often people talk about Ethan and Diesel for Wildcard, but to see Derpe and Neo go strong, it's definitely elevated them to another level. So this is great so far. 2 rounds up for Wildcard. We will resume round 3 after the CYCLOPS tactical timeouts. We'll see what they're going to bring differently to try and counter what Wildcard is doing, as Wildcard will take the Blue and Sunrise bar bomb site.
Wildcard aren't afraid to realistically play every map on rotate here. Still seeing them pull off Kitchen as well, so all 4 viable for them, but they will be sticking with the bars as their third.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
And far Neo Fighter, all 3 of his kills have been opening kills. I just need to reaffirm this for everyone. That is a huge impact to start out every single round. Being a man down, being 2 men down, it's detrimental to that attack, to say the very least. Let's see whether we'll see any sort of aggressive play. The only ACOG for Derp at the moment. Maybe not so much this time.
Seeing Immerin go down for a bit of a roam there. Saw him off-site very much so for the hookah defense before. Likewise with Ethan. To wreak a bit of havoc on the entry for CYCLOPS, but so far, look at this, they are a little bit scared of these runouts, and this is the first time I've probably seen CYCLOPS be so cautious. So that is the effect of something that Derpe did last round, and even though he didn't find that frag, this is a free 30 seconds where they haven't had to do anything. That being said, Ethan has been taken out, maybe a little bit too aggressive.
Yeah, just a little bit ill-advised there, my friend. That's going to be at least the first time the opening kill will go CYCLOPS' way in map number 2 here. It is the Valk off, but it will allow the Valk to also sit on the cams as well, so it's not always bad news losing a player on defense. Let's just hope he's thrown all his cams out.
That's it. Ethan's so pivotal in communication as well for his team, so having him being able to be on those cams will be definitely helpful for his team. CYCLOPS is trying to get a bit of map control on the top floor here. They definitely want to be able to take that hookah billiards section so that they can open the floors, play a little vertically, and flush out these defenders on the bomb site. We did see Diesel playing really aggressive around that window yesterday against Xavier, so it looks like something he might be keeping up his sleeve for today as the mute there. Neo just holding a dirty little angle through a bullet hole. Blackray will find Derpe though. That's the moisture off the board, and a strong performance so far for Wildcard. So this is looking pretty good for CYCLOPS so far.
At this point, we're probably going to have to see a couple of players go massive. Luckily for them, Neo's still up, who we've seen have the dominant effect. Immerin just on the shoulder. Aniton takes down Diesel. Neo gets a little bit lucky with Blackray pushing around. In the meantime, Emo brings it back to give Neo a small chance, but this is almost near impossible as CYCLOPS know the position. He is far away from camp, and that is pretty much the way CYCLOPS secured their first round.
And not just the first round for this map, but the first round since they last run a round in Bank.
Don't do it.
So
Don't
that's
do it to me.
it's quite a few rounds in a row. So CYCLOPS finally getting around back on the board. Wildcard looking just to stop the momentum. I think it's really worth pointing out that historically Wildcard have been good on this map for sure, but really it's their attacks that are so strong on this map. So that's still to come.
Yep.
And CYCLOPS really going to have to dig deep and try to get themselves an advantage at least coming into that half, because I think that's really where they might be coming up against some unexpectedness. That being said though, CYCLOPS, an aggressive team, this map known for some run-outs, so you know they might really want to take it to Wildcard.
I feel like Coastline does favour the bold, right? It does allow you to varying success in different play styles. Like you're saying, Wildcard, I mean, it feels like for Wildcard, the adaptations they're able to make throughout very much prevail. We've seen it time and time again. I mean, we see it, 4 attempts that CYCLOPS made on placement in map number 1, it felt like Wildcard were throwing something just a little bit different each time.
Yeah, that's very true, and that's something that they're good with this this map as well. Is they have a lot of repertoire with the attacks that they can pull out, and even their defenses. I've seen them do quite a few things. CYCLOPS really going to have to try and bounce back here. And we're seeing some discussion happening with the players. Shoki actually signaling something with his fingers, maybe drawing a bit of a strategy on the mouse pad with his finger.
Imagine. Just imagine.
The big brains. So, getting ready to go back into the next round on Coastline. And yeah, again, Wildcard really going to have to fight to try and keep this advantage in front. I think if Wildcard could come out on top in this half, I think it's going to be really difficult for CYCLOPS.
Certainly will. The backs are up against the wall, a lot of pressure on them, so there's no doubt about that. Valk will be second picked for Kaid on Neo. And Gridlock we're seeing brought in from CYCLOPS, obviously one of the operators that they felt was crucial to their bank attack.
And it really did help with those bank attacks for quite a few rounds. It was only once that Gridlock was shut down. Once due to a really early pick, but also just in general that Gridlock was getting shut down, and they kind of started to shy away from it. But it seems very important the way CYCLOPS plays for executes. They are bringing it here, and they're going to try and utilize that. Again, it's just their execute. A Wildcard will be taking the hookah billiards bomb side again, which they defended so well earlier. For some really strong play from Neo in that opening first minute.
So will we see an aggressive peak? Neo, I thought maybe was hinting across for something cheeky, but not this time. He backs away. However, Wildcard are relatively off site right now. Ethan, Rin, both on the first floor, both across the main lob. Get a fair bit of noise as well, so at the very least, CYCLOPS, they now know they're going to have to be aware and be very vigilant in making sure they don't give up anything for free. Rin looking to make a little bit of contact on Anitan, but Anitan's safe at the wall.
So far, again, CYCLOPS looking like they're being a little cautious. Again, worried about that aggression. Rin and Ethan running rings around that bottom floor and shooting some drones, so it is something that CYCLOPS will have to deal with. Blackray has entered, and he's going deep into theater now, so he's starting to start progressing towards, it looks like, the 90, taking off that pest and the default cam. Definitely looking like they're favoring to take this VIP and opening that angle again so that the defenders cannot rotate freely around the bar and billiards. What Susie will start doing, and so far so good for CYCLOPS, but not a whole lot happening.
Suzu looking for that deep line, but nicely done from Neofighter. I don't know whether that did deny it, correct? Yes, the ex-Kairos been denied from Neo. Looking for it again. Oh my word, is that two now he's been able to deny?
Some really great Kaid plays from Neofighter. He's out of Electric Claws now, but that's really going to burn a lot of the ex-Kairos.
Oh, all of them.
He's finally used his last ones now. He's got one line of sight, but it is not on the desirable wall. It's the one on the left side, which means it won't get quite as deep an angle as they would have hoped to have been holding. Really well played from Neofighter there again. Coming in big for his team to help them with this defense. We're seeing some track stingers get thrown on the side, which means it's going to be difficult to move around. Neo, he's traded back, but that is the sledge taken off. That's some nades not utilized, and CYCLOPS to start trying to get into Wildcard skin.
It's exactly what we saw Neo do in the previous round. Well, the previous round we're in hookah billiards, rather. Crucial to make that work. Derpe on a very tight line. If he finds that, could be a juicy one-tap, but whether they peak, it's up to them. Anitan reads it nicely, now in the position to actually try and trade out a little bit more. It is going to be the Maestro cam to try and do some damage. I mean, Anitan is going huge right now for CYCLOPS. A double entry, and Derpe, Ethan, need to step up right now. It might be Ethan to deny the plan. Can he find it? I don't exactly know whether he's got the right line. He's moved off. The default plan comes through. He can't find the footing either. Derpe's down. Ethan 1v3 to bring it back for CYCLOPS. Rather Wildcard. Nearly done it.
Ethan got it on his back here. He does have full HP. He might even try and get Derpe up. He does have the time to do so, if that's what he wishes to do. The CYCLOPS players tagged low, so still definitely doable. Derpe is going to be picked up, so it will be a 2v3 situation. post plant with half the defuse timer down, which means there's not a whole lot of time left for Wildcard to make something happen here. They're going to have to get moving, and CYCLOPS are poised to even out the score at 2-2. Wildcard not able to find anything. Susie will find Ethan. It's a 3v1. Derpe will down that gridlock, not able to secure, but that is going to be time against Wildcard. CYCLOPS securing that round, and we are tied up at 2-2 with 2 rounds remaining for this half.
Yeah, CYCLOPS doing a very good job. Thought Kaid had maybe burnt a lot of the utility coming through from CYCLOPS, obviously in toward VIP, shutting down that long line that looked somewhat successful for Suzu in the previous, but on Anitan finding a double entry, they open things up a little bit more. They can push in from multiple fronts, too much pressure on Derp and Ethan. Crumble under the pressure. Now we will be heading where? Pen and Theatre.
Back to Pen's house for Wildcard, which was successful for them last time. Great flank coming out of Ethan to secure the final kill on that round when it was just Ethan and Diesel remaining. Ethan's going to be playing the Kaid this round, not Neo. And last round he did play the Jaeger, so he's 6 picked off that onto the Kaid. Must have a strategy up their sleeve for how they're going to defend this bomb site and how it will go differently.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
All of these rounds have been coming quite close for CYCLOPS as well. It's been quite an even battle. And I think definitely the scoreline does show that. First 2 to Wildcard, second 2 to CYCLOPS. Seems like a very well-gelled team all round. Will we see somewhat of a spawn peak from Wildcard? The last time it didn't bow so well. We're watching, I believe it was Ethan who got caught off.
Yeah, and it looks like there is going to be some aggression coming out in this round again from Wildcard. Oh, backing away, shying away as Ethan. Derpe is still holding that angle though, so maybe we'll find something if somebody walks through that angle, but it looks like players on that side not going to find anything so far. Definitely feels like the calm before the storm is happening here, Manic. It's 2-2. They've traded rounds back and forth, and it's definitely building to what could be a very tight finish this map, and that could mean semi-final win for Wildcard.
See, can they buck the trend of not being able to go to these APAC Finals, or rather finish these APAC Finals and head to the international events? I believe this will be their first international appearance if they can make this work, so a lot rides on the back of that. CYCLOPS again looking to bring this one home for the global finals in their hometown.
Definitely not an event that they want to miss, that's for sure. Catarata reprising the line again. They really. Oh, he just saw the head of Derpe. Not quite finding it, but taken low and stimmed straight away by Neo, to which Derp just peeks again. He's going to sit into this corner nice and safe. E1D scan goes off. Spotting a defender there, but not really able to be actioned. Susie's got a nice little angle there to shut the rotate from Hall of Fame. But Ethan is playing deep in Pan's house here. They will have to flush him out if they wish to plant behind the bed, because otherwise Ethan will definitely be able to deny that plant. Black Ray is on the window, so Ethan is potentially pinned in that situation. They're really hard pushing this VIP Hall of Fame section. And Anitan with a great pick, and Suzu pushing in and getting Diesel, and that is some really great team play and pushing there from CYCLOPS Gaming. Derpe has been taken down. Emo will trade. Gatorada finishes off Derpe, and it is up to Ethan and Emo here. It's a 4v2 situation. Ethan just hitting the bars of that bomb, and he is just under all kinds of fire here, and it's all up to Emorin, who is far off site. Strong attack so far from CYCLOPS on this round.
Surely he's seen that. Will be making his way back to the site. CYCLOPS with 50 seconds remaining gets the plant down, so very nice time management from the attacking side. Emorin finds himself the first. Don't want to overstate this, but it is going to be incredibly difficult. A lot of different angles to deal with. And CAG, very nicely done. They take the lead so far. We've got 1 round left. Are we going to see 3 apiece? Or is CAG going to come out swinging?
Definitely feels like it could end with a very even half here. It's feeling quite even, but you almost would say the momentum's starting to shift back in the favor of CYCLOPS. They've had a couple of pretty strong attacks now, to which Wildcard have played. They've played well, but CYCLOPS are just starting to really counter that. Heading into this final round of the half, Seeing Wildcard decide to take the Hookah Billiards bomb site again. Seems to be their standout favorite. Picking it first, playing it 2 rounds ago, and now again for this final round of the half. Ethan not playing the Mozzie this time, he's going to be playing the Valkyrie.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by
Quite a
attackers.
lot hinging on this last round. A 2-round lead for CYCLOPS or Wildcard to even things out before we swap and head to the attacking side. You think that Wildcard have a very strong attacking side on Coastline, so CYCLOPS need every round they can get at this point. A lot of renovations from Diesel with the shotty, but I think it's looked really good from CYCLOPS so far. Like you said, a lot of the momentum has swung in their favor. That's the beauty of these kind of games, though.
It's neck and neck. It's 3-2. It really shows that, and this half's going to be tight. Even throwing a cam out there on the Hookah balcony on the couch. Throwing another one out to Ruin, so they're really emphasizing wanting to gather intel around that Hookah area. That is an unfortunate cam for Ethan. That's stuck behind something that is going to really inhibit what he sees from that camera. He's going to rotate out of there, just check his cams, make sure he's got everything set up. That's a nice one on the couches there to get some intel. You know, reprising the role again on Kaid. Played very strong so far with some solid Kaid tricking and some aggressive plays.
It's Ethan finding the first. That's going to be the Gridlock, who we've said has had quite an instrumental effect on the attacking side for CYCLOPS, specifically on Bank. But it does feel like they've had success with it on Coastline as well. Blackray trying to find a trade through a deep hallway. Emorin prone right now, could actually catch out this player, but now pre-firing the angle. He has given his position away. Blackray's taken a lot of damage. This engagement not really paying off for CYCLOPS in any way, shape or form. It does force that player back, so gives them something to deal with.
Wildcard definitely taking the aggression to CYCLOPS, still definitely not afraid to peek. Emorin just constantly going back to this angle, making sure this sledge isn't comfortable to aggress, and he tried to peek, but he got pre-fired and was going through that suitcase. He has good intel on Emorin though. Now with that balcony door being opened, Emorin is going to rotate back onto site, so finally the sledge can enter into Aquarium. It's looking alright for CYCLOPS in terms of time. They've still got just under half the round to go, and they've got control of Aquarium, but is there a player below? We saw Ethan playing that position last time. Unable to fully deny the plant. It's going to be key there, whether they can get in those positions to deny. And no, it looks like all of Wildcard is backing up towards site there. Diesel is on the cool vibe stairs.
These nades coming through were crucial for CYCLOPS to find a couple of openings, or at least put the pressure on Wildcard in the previous attempt on Hookah. And it's done as well. This is the exact same position he was able to find that 2K entry on, so definitely wanting to favor this in the circumstances. They will start to make their approach. Diesel won't want to fall. They've got so much information on this as well, so Diesel might just go ahead, take the straight up fight with a shotgun. Anitan falls down. A 3 versus 5 now. CYCLOPS decisions need to be made.
Finally seeing some classic Diesel there, aggressive pushing with the smoke shotgun, and it's CYCLOPS on the ropes here. 20 seconds to go with a great peek from Neo, 5v2. It's not looking great for CYCLOPS in this round. Wildcard poised to push forward. 4v1, 10 seconds to go. It's all up to Blackray as the sledge, and he is taken out by Derpe. A strong round coming out of Wildcard, and we are tight here, Manic, heading into the second half of this map.
What will the second half bring? Will we see CYCLOPS get comfortable on the defensive side? The Wildcard have what it takes on their attacking side. This is their map pick after all. They are up 1 map. This is the semi-finals. Whoever takes this series, not this map, will crown themselves an opportunity in Japan for the Global Pro League Finals, but not just that. Even more on the line. International exposure of 6 Invitational as well.
Massive stakes. Massive stakes. And
attackers need to locate
the big half here for this map. Wildcard chasing that dream of winning this series, which they can do with winning this map. CYCLOPS looking just to hold on and take it to the 3rd map to give themselves that chance. This is their first round of defense, and they've decided to take the kitchen bomb site. Nothing too dramatic coming out of their operator picks here, but it looks like they might be favoring a room again, which very much expected from them to hold that penthouse theater section, because that is really critical control for defending this bomb site.
Was CYCLOPS on the Nomad ban, so Derpay won't be able to sit comfortably with that operator. Does opt, however, for another opportunity. This is what we like to see. Black Ray now going to go for the spawn peak. This is the kind of aggression. Wildcard's read it perfectly, though. Nearly catch him on the rotate back in. Not to be, though.
Almost a bit of mockery, right?
Yep.
Really just doing the exact move that Derpay did.
Again, setting precedence is so important to keeping Wildcard on their toes right now. They're actually under a fair bit of fire as they make their way a little bit closer to the building.
We're definitely poised to see some aggression from CYCLOPS, it looks like, which we have come to expect from them. Wildcard will have to be very careful about that, and Diesel on that line will definitely help manage that. If they get some intel that is a player ready for run out or some aggression or in a really difficult aggressive spot, they can lean back on these line scans to get a better position to take out that player. Some good entry here from Wildcard. They have entered into the Hall of Fame music section there and looking to take VIP. So this is good control. This is definitely something that CYCLOPS potentially could have fought harder for. Generally just given it to Wildcard with a long time to go. They can start opening on that floor, which means it's going to be difficult for the anchor players to really stay on site. Which means that we might start to see some flanks coming out, which is an indication of why CYCLOPS might have banned the Nomad. Really leaning into the ability to flank here. Annington is still running around in the bars section. He's going to sit behind Sunrise there, and we see Black Ray Gatorado both in the lobby, so they are really spread out.
Derpay now starting to make a little bit of progress, ensuring that no one can have the free movement. And Shokai feeling a little bit of the pressure from Neo, making renovations of his own on this attacking side, opening up a lot of the space. You said yesterday this is a really dangerous strat on the attacking side because it makes life very hard for the defense.
CYCLOPS not too afraid to pick those holes though, which will mean that Wildcard need to be a little bit careful now. They've got these holes open on the floor, and it means they can't quite move around as freely, but these line scans really assist being able to shoot through those holes, as Shoki really aggressing up behind this desk, and this is going to be really important if this gets droned out or not, because that could make or break this round. A really big play from Shoki. Diesel has diffuser. He has pushed the service door, and we're under 30 seconds to go here, so Wildcard poised to make an execute.
15 seconds remaining.
Shokai holding the tight line. This has to come down to an explosive execute. Diesel gets dropped instantly. He had absolutely no idea he was there. Wildcard scrambling to try and find something here. Neofighter and Derp find something, but they don't have the diffuser. And CYCLOPS, they win on time. They pinch that all on Diesel, getting that diffuser down.
He was all by himself, and while they all rushed to get those frags, definitely that diffuser being so far away meant that they weren't able to try and secure that last plant. Totally saw a massive sigh of relief from Black Ray there. They were right up against the wall, and they managed to get that round, so CYCLOPS will inch back out in front. They get that first round of their defense half, and they will switch bomb site now to the blue Sunrise bars.
Somewhat at home for CYCLOPS now. That is an incredibly important step for them in this second half and in securing a third map in this semi-final. And another chance at representing APAC at 2 international events. I cannot stress that enough. Both of these teams, in most senses, have had their opportunities in the past, but been squandered by the giants that we know. And now it's their turn. However, only one can come through, only one can prevail. So for CYCLOPS, this is back up against, there is absolutely nothing that they have nothing left after this.
10 seconds to go.
Yep, this is do or die for CYCLOPS. They need this map to stay in it.
Seconds to insertion.
Wildcard, they need this map to secure them the win for the series. Looking like maybe some aggression from Gatorada, just throwing the cam out. Addington ran out after him to do a pre-fire, potentially trying to get a cheeky spawn peek, but not landing anything there, so back away. Blackray also pre-firing through that window, so definitely some aggression trying to repel back Wildcard and just slow them down on their attacks. Ethan on the Ash, so looking to a bit of impact potentially on entry here, or just late round aggression. We did see that come out with the IQ last time, but this time opting for the Ash. Wildcard will start to progress towards bomb site and start to figure out exactly how they wish to take this. They do have Suzu playing a smoke on site, and it looks like CYCLOPS also will be playing this roam up in the hookah billiards section, which is what we saw Wildcard doing when they held this bomb site.
Similarities being seen. Wildcard, not with the greatest of time management in the previous there, Raven. Unfortunately, weren't being able to. Well, they weren't gifted anything from CYCLOPS, which is the more important factor of all of that. Ethan gets a little bit of information on that drone, so whether he decides to take a fight or not, Suzu goes quite aggressive in toward the opening there, so Ethan just needs to be a little bit careful. He doesn't get peeked. Nice shot onto Aniton. The information comes through, and the peek is near perfect.
Ethan, he's just going off on the Ash now. It's a double kill on entry here, and taking out two really strong players for CYCLOPS. Blackray on the Jaeger and Acton on the Legion. Down to these anchor players, and so far, a really great attack from Wildcard, getting those two on the entry with half the round left to play, so some good time. Which, as you were saying, wasn't quite their strength on that last round. Suzu trying to play aggressive as this smoke, and it's been read into with this line charge as two players aggress on him and take him out. Some fantastic teamwork. God. Ethan going for the ace, but doesn't quite get it. It's now 1v2, Gatorada by himself on low HP. Plant is going down by a Diesel. Gatorada will have to attempt this solo retake as he's spotted. That's big. They know where he is. Wildcard with a fantastic round there. Crowd really getting behind them, and it couldn't be any tighter, man. We are just trading rounds. It's now 4-4.
Ethan with 4 kills in that round. Technically, 2 times 2 on the double entries. That is incredibly done on that Ash. It's exactly what we kind of expect from that kind of potential. But now they are, as you say, poising themselves, putting themselves in a better position. Their attacks look pretty strong. COG learning from their previous mistake, not sticking on the same bomb site twice. They move directly upstairs to hookah.
Can be dangerous territory for CYCLOPS. Ethan is the kind of player, has that kind of impact. Sometimes he can just have these rounds where he just goes off, and sometimes if you let him have too many of those rounds, it's a bit of a snowball effect. So CYCLOPS don't want to let that get too out of control. They want to hold on to this map here. As you said, they have swap bomb sites, so they will be trying hookah. They're abandoning their bars. Nothing too extreme with their setup. Again, really you haven't seen a whole lot of aggression. They've tried to pre-fire early rounds, try to get those spawn peaks, but nothing as dramatic as that first round, that jump out.
No. And that jump out was pretty wild to begin with. Yeah, no, we saw that from CYCLOPS in the first map. They were happy to jump out in the first round and be a little bit more aggressive, or at least be putting a very heavy presence on the roam, and then played a little bit more passive toward the later parts, or rather to the middle parts of the round. So Wildcard, we're going to keep guessing regardless now. Diesel's going to be moving with much care, obviously seeing the opening. Actually, no, he's just going to yeet directly through, so fair enough.
I think it's really important to see that Diesel's actually switched on to IQ here, and they don't really have hard support operator in their lineup. It's quite an aggressive lineup, so this could be Wildcard's chance to really catch them off guard here. I think they're looking to really shoot ahead. It's something that CYCLOPS isn't expecting. There's a lot of aggression here. We'll have to see how it plays out. Imarin trying to enter below. Wanting to flush out some of these site players with that verticality. Ethan looking to enter in through hookah. Iron Scan is keeping players in position. There is a pre-fire that was potentially available there, but not taken by Ethan. Shoki just surviving. Not a whole lot of movement here from CYCLOPS after that first part of the rounds. They're just staying quite patient.
Bomb located by attackers.
Like a Leaf was denying a lot of the vision from that belt clam, unfortunately. Ethan, though, progressing with that drone. Now starting to see that the backside of the couch is clear. It's not exactly the position they need to be worrying about. They do also have the anchor in Anaton with that older in the middle of Hookah, who could really cause some issues. Wildcard just testing it. Anaton will take down Diesel. That's the IQ off the board. Wildcard looking to double down here and try and find a trade.
Almost got the trade. Imarin pre-firing through the floor and taking Anaton quite low. Diesel did have Diffuser, so Diffuser is on the ground outside. Wildcard will need to not forget about that if they're going to go for the execute, because Blackray is offside. Might not be able to go for all the frags at the end. These Lion Sands really causing havoc for this roam. They're getting pinched in positions here, and if Wildcard have the intel, they'll be able to shut this down, and shut it down they do. Derpe finds Blackray. 4v4 situation. Wildcard really starting to surround Cyclops on site here. Very much aware of this position of the smoke, and also aware of the Maestro. Just avoiding that nade, but look at this push from Wildcard. 2 up the stairs. Anaton does shut it down. Shoki also finding one. The Maestro finding another. This is really well stopped from Cyclops. Wildcard tried to give it everything, but Cyclops pulling it out, and it's all up to Derpe on this Lion. Full HP, up against a couple of damage. Now aware of a position.
Let's try to make the entry back into Hookah. Pre-firing the right angles, but unfortunately there's just too many angles to try and fight. CAG close it out. It was tight, it was close. It came down to a lot of 1v1 engagements. Anaton comes up absolutely massively with, I think, 2 kills, and Shokai with 2 as well. Instrumental in ensuring the site was not completely swarmed on. I feel like that smoke has been caught out, trying to throw the smoke babes down twice in a row now. Just needs to be careful of the overexposed positioning.
I think that shows that Cyclops aren't necessarily quite prepared for the level of aggression that Wildcard are willing to take them. That smoke definitely thought he could calmly just smoke that off, just to push them back. Little did he know there were 2 already pushing up those stairs, and we really highlighted that Wildcard did have those aggressive operators, and it looked like they were going to try and muscle it. And they still had a lot of time, so definitely that was their intention, to muscle site at an unexpected time. But man, give Cyclops credit, they really stuck deep in those anchor positions and really stopped Wildcard in their tracks. So a good defense coming out of them. They will take 5-4 now, so they're only 1 round away from match point manage. We haven't seen for majority of this map any separation more than 1 round. This Cyclops' chance to get another attempt at securing a map.
Oh, they were mighty successful on this first attempt down in Kitchen in the first round of the second half. It did feel a little bit like Wildcard played into their hand. They sent the diffuser in with, I think, about 10 seconds on its lonesome, so there was no trade potential. If that goes down, you're in a fair bit of trouble, and I think they will not be making the same mistake here. I hope they're not going to make the same mistake here.
Could happen, but I do believe that Wildcard will remember that and try to be a bit more thorough with their drones. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. Cyclops here, looking like they're going to play, again, quite freely around the map. Try to prevent a roam. It's like Wildcard are looking to opt to push through the Sunrise section on that first floor. Gatorada trying to play an aggressive C4 for the hatch here. Imarin's going to be able to open that from a distance though, so not a sledge. That C4 has been shot, not even detonated, so...
Fair enough, Imarin.
Bit of a waste there from Gatorada, attempted that aggression, but shut down by Imarin.
Guess it now shows presence, so it's a double-edged.
Yeah, can slow them down on this roam clear. But Ethan not slowing down at all, in fact, just shift Wing with that Ash, pushing forward, and that Lion Scan will lock down those roamers before they can rotate. Gatorada has already pieced away from Penthouse though, so he's back in the lobby and he's joining Blackray in that section.
A minute 40 left on that clock. Wildcard making a little bit more of a presence on that second floor, clearing out nice and early. It's going to give them a lot of time to play with when push comes to shove, sorry.
Long angles there that Wildcard could potentially use to their advantage as opposed to Cyclops. That angle commonly used more so on a retake or to deny plant. Ooh, some great intel there from Diesel onto that Valkyrie in that roam position. And Diesel will shut down the Valkyrie, so really well played from Diesel there, just getting that intel from the drone, shutting him down. There's another one in Sunrise, though, playing behind the pink couches. Oh, no, he's actually in the blue bar position, so we'll have to think about shutting down that room. And Neo will start opening the floor and looking through these holes, trying to get a pick. As we get to the last minute of this round, and Wildcard, they've got the man advantage, but they did last time as well, and Cyclops sitting pretty on site so far, with also some roamers still around.
Once again, we're going to see Neo opening up some of those hatches, not hatches, rather, flooring above kitchen. Getting Cyclops to feel a little bit antsy. What might be done here? He does see a bit of a shoulder being pushed. They all are stuck right now. Had he been able to pre-call that position, it might have been interesting. Now they're going to get a little bit more aggressive in the main lobby. This is going to be huge for Wildcard. They've already taken down 2 players. It's a 3 versus 5, and they're slowly picking them one by one. I don't know whether they're going to have what it takes here, Cyclops, but they've got to go for it. They've got to give it all. Gatorada trying to spray through to find something, but it's nothing. The second he reloads and re-peaks, they collapse. Wildcard now bring it back, 5-5.
Nice attack coming out of Wildcard there, and almost with the pre-fire through the wall able to deny the plan, but I think Wildcard, just too many players available. They knew the position of the Mozzie, shutting it down. So we do see equal terms again, 5-5. The winner of this next round will face match point. Couldn't be tighter.
No, it couldn't. Full regulation on the first, into overtime. Now we're going full regulation on the second, and we're not done yet. Not by any means. Back into kitchen here for CAG. Having flashbacks.
Yeah, this is, look, got me a little bit worried, if we're completely honest. Downfall of Cyclops on bank was potentially the repetition of taking that Locker's bomb site, and they've selected to go the same with kitchen. They feel like they can do that a lot better, potentially based on how it went in that first round. But we talked about how in that first round, it just came down to a mistake that Wildcard made, just not seeing that rotate from Shoki. I think without that, Wildcard had already put forward quite a strong attack. And in that last round, that was also a strong attack that Wildcard had put forward. So, potentially Cyclops really misplacing some faith they have in themselves with this bomb site. We'll have to wait and see.
5 seconds remaining. Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
So with the momentum constantly shifting, it has been somewhat of a seesaw for both of these teams on Coastline. By no means does it look like Cyclops is out or uncomfortable or unstable. It looked pretty good in most of these rounds. You do have to admit though, on kitchen, Wildcard have looked the better of the two.
A bomb has been located.
Very thorough on this roam clear up top, and quite quick as well. Generally into the 2-minute mark, we start to see Wildcard expanding out and not really allowing Cyclops to get too comfortable.
We're going to be wary of that position, remembering last time that Gatorada tried to lob up that aggressive C4. Not playing a C4 operator this time, so not in that position, but really played from Imarin just to make sure he's not shut down from that position. A minute played here, and a whole lot of control taken from Wildcard. Gatorada is still playing hard in the theater, and he has been down, so that's a roamer shut down relatively early. Imarin finishes him off. Good start here from Wildcard. And Cyclops back against the wall. Shoki's been taken low on site. Good so far for Wildcard with half the round left. Something together.
Starting off in a very similar fashion, Raven. Oh, that's a foot. That's a little bit more of a tag. Too substantial, actually down to half, below half HP now. This could start to get a little bit concerning for Cyclops as they're literally just being tapped away constantly now. Wildcard seems to be in the better hand.
This is the benefit of taking this vertical position. It's really hard to freely rotate around that side. Ethan finds Black Ray. That's the dock, so this HP that we've seen these two other operators take, they won't be replenished. Wildcard taking a 5-3 man advantage, and really, again, Cyclops site not really looking too strong for them. Shoki is playing this position that he played in the round they did win, but we've seen already Imarin remembering what Cyclops has done in previous rounds. You have to think that Wildcard are going to be ready for that as well. 36 seconds here, and the execute's going to have to come soon.
Cyclops are going to have to pull something out of the bag. This is more or less on Cyclops to pull this back. Wildcard have done everything they need to. This is for match point, and it's done. It's exactly what we need to see.
That's diffuser down as well.
Wildcard now in a little bit of a stressful situation, down to 10 seconds. Neofighter will find Aniton, but Shokai still doing some damage, only down to 5 seconds. Where's the diffuser? Is it going down? It is, but is it going to be denied? Ethan jumps off it for a second, but just gets back on it. It's all up to Shokai in a 1v2. What a read from Neofighter! Right in the last second, they make it work. And that is going to be Wildcard on match point for our semi-final.
Hearing some Aussie chants coming out in the crowd, and Neo stepping up yet again for his team. This whole weekend, he has just been pulling out some fantastic impact frags. Now we will see Wildcard turn this into match point, Manic. 1 round away from overtime, 1 round away from securing Tokoname and 6 Invitational. Which will we see?
Oh, Cyclops actually, I must admit, all things considered, got very close. I'm seeing something, Raven, and I'm sure you've probably got thoughts on this. I see you questioning maybe.
I'm not too sure what Cyclops is seeing in their kitchen defenses. I think so far Wildcard have been playing it really well. Cyclops, it's a very messy finish, and that's, I think, not really favoring them at the moment. So anyway, they think that this is the play, and they're going to go for it. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're on the edge of your seat, because this is the make or break round for these teams. Make or break for Cyclops to represent their nation in the Tokoname Global Finals, as well as 6 Invitational, or potentially not having Japan represented at all. Wildcard, finally, they're in the semi-finals. They progress it even further and make it to the Global Finals, and as we said, the 6 Invitational is on this round at this stage, match point Wildcard. Similar setup coming out of Cyclops here. Nothing too dramatic to change, potentially thinking that it's just an error with the way they're playing at Gatorada. On this Jaeger again, upstairs. He was shut down relatively quickly by Imarin in his previous round. Now have to change the tides if they wish to take this one.
Smack bang on the head there, Raven. Wildcard coming into a new organization as well. You know, this is a storyline for them. This is a fairy tale. The happy ending in touching distance. And they can feel it. It is so close right now. 1 round is all that remains between them and their first international appearance. And it's the exact same bomb site that they've seen so much success on so far.
Methodical push from them so far, just getting the intel, checking out these roamers. Ooh. Ethan will find the opening frag with the Aniton. That's a big pick from Ethan. He's been going off on this Ash. Doing a lot of work for his team here. It's a good start. 5v4 now. Saw this before and it almost went into Cyclops' favor, but Wildcard still managed to close out the round, so far so good. Half the round remaining. Good control on the first floor here from Wildcard now that they have cleared Aniton, that roamer. So denying that courtyard position.
Yes.
Really important.
Very good opportunity with Wildcard slowly but surely expanding through the map. The roam starting to slow down a little bit more. It's going to be Neofighter with that pre-aimed line. Unfortunately, he pulls off it for a second. Posted back up. If he swings into this Black Ray, I don't think he's going to, but it could be quite dangerous. Inches and milliseconds is all that's in it for Cyclops right now.
That it is. So far, Imarin's the only one tagged up for Wildcard. Not a whole lot of movement happening here with this defense. They're definitely just waiting for Wildcard to push into them. Waiting for one little mistake that could change everything.
Bomb located by attackers.
U's and R's come through. That's Lion. That's Neofighter. He does get traded out. Gatorada. It's going to be an explosion onto the site from Wildcard. They do have control in a small sense. Suzu, though, he's right there. It's a 2v2 versus 3. It's all going to hinge
Oh,
on
the
this.
denial.
Zuzu's not done yet. And neither are CYCLOPS. They're still bringing themselves back into this wild card they have to hold.
The plan is down now, so it is a post-plan situation. Dope finds one. Manic, is this it? Is the deck stacked? Is this wildcard's victory to get to the Tokoname Pro League Finals? All up to Gatorada. Trying to push through. He's unsure of their positions. He knows where Diffuser is, and there's a pre-fire coming out. He's aware of that spot, but he's not going to get it, and it is wildcard. The ANZ team taking that spot into the grand final. First time for this team, and look at the emotions.
Yeah, the emotions are flooding through here from Wildcard. They are going to be representing APAC at their first international event ever. You can see what it means to them. The emotion pouring on through, an incredible performance from them. A 2-0 fashion to take down CYCLOPS. Sweet, sweet revenge.
There must always be an ANZ representative at the global finals. And 4 seasons in a row now, it is going to be the case. Fnatic 3 now for the first time wildcard, not only through to those semi-finals, but they win their semi-final as well, and they're at the global finals as well. For Japan though, that is heartbreak. No team from Japan, from the host region of the Season 10 global finals, will be in attendance in Tokoname.
Yeah, I'm sure they're very disappointed that that's not going to be the case. I think a region that's very proud of how their teams perform. So yeah, definitely not going to be too happy with how that's panned out, but very strong from the ANZ team here.
Yeah, certainly is indeed. I mean, let's talk about that, Rob, because a very, very hard-fought series, wasn't it? 8-6 in the first map there on Bank, obviously with some drama involved, but then a 7-5 here as well onto Coastline for Wildcard. It was certainly not quite as clean of a run as what it was for Aerowolf against Nora Orengo.
No, CAG make them work for it, make them claw through blood, sweat and tears, and I think that that's very well representative of where the APAC region is right now. We've seen it the entire weekend relatively. When we do look at it, it has been a pretty hard-fought battle from all of the teams across the board, but Wildcard, this is an incredible performance from them. This is something that will echo through, I think, for the next 6 months.
Yeah, the first time that we get to see 2 new teams in such a long time. I mean, I guess technically Season 6 would have been the first time, then Season 7 as well, when Nora Orengo and Fnatic started that dynasty, that 3-season-long dynasty. But now, that has all been forgotten. Now we have 2 brand new teams to go to the global finals and try and make their mark on the global stage.
Just shows some fantastic depth in the APAC scene now, and it's just really great to see the change of the guard, and now these teams will get some really valuable international experience, which you've got to say has probably really helped Fnatic and Nora to build that dynasty and to be able to continue it.
Yeah, it certainly has. Well, let's also take a look back into the past as well for CAG and those Raleigh qualifiers going up against Wildcard. They get the win there, but it's quite clear that Wildcard learned something and they've come into today with some fresh ideas.
I definitely think this was a huge grudge match for them, right? Not only were they taken down there, but now they've actually got the opportunity to have that org back in Wildcard. So it means that, you know, everything is a little bit less stressful for them. They can play this professionally now, and you can see what it means to them. You know, this has been a journey that was started long ago, and I think as time's progressed, we've seen them get more comfortable, more confident. And this is the summary.
Yeah, I mean, Aerowolf and Wildcard, now we know, are the 2 confirmed teams through to the grand final, through to the global finals. And if I would have said that to you on Friday night, would you guys have called me crazy?
No?
Yes, I would have.
I definitely wouldn't have. I definitely thought Arrow was going to get through, and that's the predictions. But look, I think it's fantastic, though. I'm super happy with the representatives that will be sending to the global finals.
Me too.
Yeah.
I wonder what Danny Kim thinks as well. We've got him down on the stage, so let's jump on over and have an interview.
No one knows what I think, Jordan, but we can get some insight into what Diesel thinks. Great effort, mate. I asked you about this yesterday. What was it like in terms of the planning and the preparation on facing these giants in CYCLOPS to what played out today? 2-0, that is a massive feat.
Well, yeah, our preparations were just like voting them like Xavier, but this time CAG play a little bit more structured and have more tendencies than Xavier, who are a bit more like random and just making plays on the fly kind of thing. So we definitely knew what we're getting ourselves into, especially after the Raleigh calls then. We just fell short. And I think the stars just aligned and it was just meant to be. Like, I don't know.
You seem to be a bit of a fan favorite, mate. What do you want to say to these fans here? There's a lot of I love you, Diesel, and you get a bit of love from out there. Do you feel that coming in?
Oh, definitely. I don't really get why. I'm just a normal guy. Like, just a nerd playing Siege, but yeah, no, the community's great. I love just being friends with everyone, just having banter. Like, I just love our fans. It's just great.
Brilliant. And I imagine there was a bit of pressure, not pressure, but expectation being signed with an org, having the support. Is there a bit of relief now that you've made it to these 2 huge events?
Oh, definitely. Like, especially all the rest of the guys. They've been grinding for it for so long. I've just joined the roster, like, at the start of this year, and I've been along the same journey with them just for this short amount of time I've been on the team. But, like, it's crazy. It was, like, Wildcard's the first org I've been with, and they've given us, like, they believed in us. They gave us the support we needed, and it's just meant to be, I guess. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, you have delivered to the Wildcard name, but now you have the weight and expectations of a whole region. Are you feeling that? Is it on your shoulders, or?
Oh, well, it's not really like a pressure. It's just more support. Just everyone in the region's so great. I love our country. It's just great to represent it. Like, it's going to be insane. I'm just so keen. I'm so keen.
Well, congratulations, mate. Let's give it up for Wildcard, our second finalist through. And it's going to be exciting, but don't go anywhere. Remember, we have that matchup for that first seat. The kings of APAC will be crowned. Jordan, take it away.
Yeah, the new kings as well, Danny. It's such an interesting storyline heading into those grand finals for us. Obviously, want to touch on what was said on the stage there. I mean, just a normal guy. Is that really the case? I don't think you can say, you can't just put it down like that. You gotta really sort of set yourself up. And I feel like to just say, oh, you know what, we're just normal guys is really underselling it, because not everyone can go out and do what these guys are able to do and then go and play on a global stage. I mean, how many people are playing at the global finals? Like, we've got, what, 8 teams of 5? That's 40 people in the whole world. Normal guy? I don't know.
That's just classic Diesel, though. He does all the interviews for their team, usually for the Pro League, and he's just always presented as a humble guy, so I wouldn't expect him to say anything different, to be honest, but yeah.
Well, certainly not. But let's take a look at the bracket here as well to update everyone as to the proceedings of this weekend. Fnatic and Cloud9 both dropped in the quarterfinal. That left us with Aerowolf and Nora Rengo on the top side of the bracket. And I mean, Aerowolf were basically playing like maniacs today. They went straight through Nora Rengo. Super keen to see how they're going to go in this grand final. And down on the lower side of the bracket, Wildcard and CYCLOPS going through from their quarterfinal. And it was, just as we've seen, a 2-0 for Wildcard today. A couple of 2-0s, in fact, today. And you know what's beautiful about this? 2 seed 2 teams through to the grand final. That is not something you see every day.
No, definitely not. And again, I want to keep batting on. This is just the visible signs of the region growing. Yeah, APAC is becoming closer. You know, I think a lot of people coming into this were saying APAC's top heavy with Nora and Fnatic, and that's the teams that we've always seen representing APAC. However, now it's not to be the case. We've got two newcomers, and well, not newcomers in that sense, newcomers to the international scene on that kind of scale. And look, what a way for them to do it. I think Aerowolf, you have to take your hats off to them. They played incredibly well, but in the same token, look at what the boys from Wildcard have been able to achieve.
Yeah, certainly. And you guys are going to be taking a break after this one, so I want to pick your brains very quickly about our grand final, Aerowolf and Wildcard. I don't know, maybe necessarily if you would have expected this to be the exact results, Raven, but now that we know those 2 teams are going to be going into the grand final, what do you think is coming for us?
It's going to be a hard fight. Both these teams have been in fantastic form, obviously, to get to here in the first place, but I think Aerowolf's dominance earlier of Nora has got to say something, so I'm feeling like they might edge forward as the first seed.
Interesting thoughts, Rob?
I think that you've got 2 polar opposite teams, and I think that what we're going to see is an absolute dogfight. I do want to see 3 maps. Please give us 3 maps in the final today, please, because it deserves nothing less, a show of all shows. And I do want to see Wildcard come through with the top seed because it is the ANZ team, but I don't know, man. Aerowolf have just looked so damn dominant.
Well, I tell you what, we are going to find out fairly shortly. A show of all shows is what Rob wants in the grand final. We're going to see whether or not it will be delivering. It's Wildcard and Aerowolf after this.